You like dragons? Imagine dragging these nuts across your forehead.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Carolyn Veyre versus Delphine Persoon for what was the vacant WBC super featherweight title. Let's talk about the fight. It wasn't a good fight to watch, not an easy watch, not at all. Very scrappy, very messy, lots of holding, clinching. Throughout the fight, I got the sense that the judges might be appreciating the cleaner work of Carolyn Veyre whenever she had a moment or moments to get it out. Not necessarily because she was creating clear separation, but because she was the house fighter. This was a Salida Promotions show. She is a Salida Promotions fighter. If anybody's going to get consideration from the judges, it would be Carolyn Veyre. Delphine Persoon, staying in character, throwing punches in bunches and stepping into them, stepping so far into the pocket that she'd collapse it. When that didn't happen, Carolyn Veyre would weave under the sweeping hooks from Delphine to come up and initiate clinches, several of them, enough that I think she should have been deducted a point. Though her being the house fighter, I didn't expect the officials to be on her case. They were instead on Delphine's. She got a point deducted. You saw former light heavyweight champion Jean Pascal in attendance to support his fellow Canadian, Carolyn Veyre, who now stands as WBC super featherweight champion after what was a messy affair that for me was hard to score. I mean, I did see Carolyn Veyre showing the cleaner boxing, but it was only in moments and only in spots. As stated, she didn't create clear separation. Last chance saloon for a visibly frustrated Delphine Persoon after the fight was over, protesting. Not even sure what it was she was protesting because the judges' scorecards hadn't been read yet, but she was mad about something. Now 41 years old, there's a legitimate argument that if another door doesn't open in the not-so-distant future, this may have been Delphine's last chance to see herself crowned a world champion. Her last stand. Carolyn now represents one of two world champions in the super featherweight division. She's got the WBC title, and Alicia Baumgartner still has the other three, arguably four, if you tag on the Ring magazine. I don't expect them to fight, as it would be sort of a redundancy if they did. Alicia Baumgartner just vacated that WBC title in protest of the WBC's hardline stance against 3-minute rounds in a women's boxing match. She just dropped that title, so to then circle back and try to win it from Carolyn, that would be redundant. I don't think she's gonna do that. I expect that this division's gonna open up in the not-so-distant future when Alicia ascends to the lightweight division, dropping all the titles that she holds now. There's just not much reason to stay at 130. All the real action is at 135, at which point Carolyn would represent a different cycle. A new crop of champions will sprout in the absence of Alicia Baumgartner if and when she moves up, and I expect her to very soon. So the prediction stuck. I went with Carolyn Veyre to win a points decision by hook or by crook. I felt she would win the WBC title, and so she has. Congratulations to her. Men's super lightweight news. Team Pitbull Cruz. The timing is ideal for a Tank Davis rematch. Ideal? Davis could be seeing jail time. These guys living under a rock? Gervonta Davis defeated a then replacement opponent in Isaac Cruz via a narrow, unanimous decision in late 2021. Pitbull has been sitting back, very patiently watching everybody get fights and get ready for the new year. Cruz's advisor, Sean Gibbons, told Boxing Scene he called me and he has put together a little hit list of 3 guys. At the top of the list is Gervonta Davis. Doesn't want to run it back with Lamont Roach? It marks unfinished business for Pitbull, and Gervonta has lots of unfinished business. I think that can come together in this time frame. Gervonta beat him already, is backed in a corner, doesn't want to fight Shakur or Roach. He needs a guy who will bring him money. Isaac doesn't have unfinished business with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta beat you. The one you've got unfinished business with is actually Lamont Roach. Just like Gervonta, because you both drew with him. Cruz's hit list also includes Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson, but with Garcia fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title at the end of this month in Vegas, and Stevenson just done with a unanimous decision over Teofimo to win the WBO title, that would likely require a long wait. Still, Gibbons worked to make the case for either. He's been chasing this fool for many years, and he would love one with Ryan Garcia, Gibbons said. Cruz has no problem moving up to 147 with no rehydration, no clauses. He's a real man, a real dog, a real pit bull. What he is real late to the party. That fight with Ryan was already offered to Isak, not once, but twice, and he turned it down both times. I'm afraid now that ship has sailed. Cruz defeated WBA welterweight champion Rolly Romero by TKO in 2024, and Romero turned around to defeat Garcia in the following year. If you look at what Romero did to Ryan, look at what Pitbull did to Rolly, he would actually maul Ryan, Gibbons said.
It's a triangle theory.
Cruz would also pursue Shakur Stevenson. He's been talking Pitbull's name everywhere about what an easy night it'd be, he said. What an easy fight it'd be. That Cruz is a chump.
Triangle theories don't work.
Pitbull, where he's at in his career, he wants the biggest and best fights that the fans can see. Maybe the fans don't want to see Shakur, but it is a big fight. Why not have a rematch with Roach after their draw in December in Texas? It's all about what people want to see. And if it's a rematch, the fans want to see Gervonta Davis, Gibbons said.
Who the fuck told you that? The main ones talking about that fight are you guys. I don't see the fans asking for it.
Lamont Roach is a lovely guy, but if it wasn't for the referee and his nonsense taking a point away from Cruz, then we win the fight. It was a fun fight, but the fight's not in demand. The only people yelling for a rematch are ProBox TV owner and Roach's promoter, Gary Jonas, Lamont Roach and his dad.
The only ones yelling about a Gervonta Davis rematch are Sean Gibbons and Isak Cruz.
They deserve rematches with Gervonta and Pitbull in a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where we have to sell tickets and pay-per-views and have to do business. Gibbons said Romero also makes sense, but he appears headed to a bout with England's Conor Benn.
Wait a minute. So you're willing to fight Rolly again? Rolly, who you already knocked out, but you're not willing to fight Lamont again.
Let me tell you something about Isak and Sean Gibbons. They don't have unfinished business with Gervonta Davis. That business is settled. Gervonta beat you. Your business with Rolly, that's settled too because you beat him.
It's finished.
Sean Gibbons continued, Pitbull earned the right for that signature fight, he said. The big one that captivates audiences, and with Gervonta or Ryan, he would capture that. The guy's itching to do something in a big way.
It's been about 4-5 years since his initial meeting with Gervonta Davis, and he hasn't stopped blubbering about it, as if they really have unfinished business. They don't.
He beat you already.
I think that if Gervonta Davis had any intention of giving Isak Cruz a second chance, he would have gave it to him by now, because it's been 4 going on 5 years, and to top it all off, even if he wanted to fight Isak Cruz again, he's got mounting legal trouble. He could be seeing jail time. Why are you still talking about this guy? Why are you talking about Shakur, who you already walked away from at 135? Why should he give you an opportunity at 140?
Why should Ryan? They offered you a fight with Ryan, not once but twice, and you turned it down both times. Who do you think you are?
And they want to run it back with Rolly. They don't want to run it back with Lamont Roach, who they drew with, but they want to run it back with Rolly, who they knocked out.
Now this is what I mean when I say that the fighters left to their own devices, them and their teams, will waste everybody's time and everybody's money with all of their fucking angling. Because you had opportunities to fight a lot of these guys and you blew it. You were too good for every fucking thing, following a loss. Not a win.
No.
Not a draw, but a loss to Gervonta Davis. Turned down a lot of major opportunities that if you would have took those fights and maybe you would have won one or some of them, you'd be in a better position right now. You sound like a panhandler to me.
A beggar.
And you know who they didn't mention? The one guy they maybe can force a fight with. Newly crowned WBC champion, Dalton Smith. Don't forget, Isak Cruz holds the WBC interim title, that if he hit the gas and put pressure on the WBC to order a fight between him and Dalton, they might actually do it. Isak Cruz holding an interim title that he's not using for anything at 140 pounds is another glaring example of how the World Boxing Council is diluting the sport for no good reason.
With all their trinkets.
At the very most, the function of an interim champion is to act in the absence of the full champion, except at 140, the full champion is not absent, they're active. So why does Isak hold an interim title anyway? especially if he's not going to use it for anything and you're not going to order him to do anything.
What's the point?
The WBC instead may end up ordering a fight between Dalton Smith and Alberto Puello? Puello, who Matias already beat, Matias, who just got beat by Dalton Smith.
Huh?
Doesn't make the least bit of sense. Back over to Isak, who spent the last 4, going on 5 years, angling. Just plain old angling. Got a big head because he gave Gervonta Davis a better fight than people expected him to on short notice, and he thought he was too good for everything after that. Now, he's hard up for opportunities, not wanting to run it back with Lamont. Accents 2 things.
1, the fight was harder than they thought it would be, and they don't want to go through that again. They came too close to losing. 2,
fight didn't sell nothing. Didn't bring in much at the gate, and I know it didn't sell nothing at the box office. Because if it had, your asses would be snapping at the grass to do a rematch. You'd have the perfect precedent to do one, because it ended in a draw.
The reason you don't want to is because it didn't sell shit. So you're not going to go through all that again for a fight that isn't going to sell.
You're thinking to yourself, if that's true, then why are you castigating them for not pursuing a rematch with Lamont?
The thing is, I don't really want to see a rematch with Lamont. I just think they sound stupid. They sound stupid saying they've got unfinished business with Gervonta. No, you don't. You want to run it back with Rolly when you knocked him out.
There's only one guy out there you actually have unfinished business with, and that is Lamont Roach. Everybody else is busy. You better find something to do.
He's been doing well in his whole career. He's been fighting a long time in this division, but I think he needs to be fighting with different guys, better guys.
Is David, you feel, a harder fight than Jai because of the styles?
Yeah,
no?
I think it's super hard.
Yeah?
Yeah, that fight.
Why do you feel it could be harder than a fight with Opetaia, in your opinion?
Oh, because Opetaia, he moved, he takes some chance, and David Benavidez, he's pushing, he's going forward all the time. He never gets tired, and I mean, he has a lot of combination, a lot of volume of punching. Yeah.
There is no quantifiable metric to suggest that David makes for a harder fight than Jai Opetaia does, because David is new to the weight. Anything and everything you've seen from him is below the cruiserweight division. We don't actually know that as a cruiserweight, he can stay in character and do all the same things. And when have you ever known anyone
Zurdo chose this fight.
to choose a harder night at the office than an easier one? That if you view Jai Opetaia as an easier fight than David Benavidez, why wouldn't you be fighting him? That one gets you another alphabet title. That one could have got you a big Saudi bag without having to worry about the upside of a pay-per-view if the pay-per-view even has an upside.
That's what Zurdo and David are relying on.
That the fight between them will be so big, it'll have an upside, and based on that upside, they'll make more money. But in this landscape, I just don't know. David Benavidez has already been on pay-per-view, 3 or 4 times? Plant, Andrade, Vosdick, Morel.
None of those pay-per-views did big numbers. Not a single one. So he's supposed to do big numbers now with Zurdo? We'll see.
Whereas if Zurdo had chosen to unify titles with Jai Opetaia, he wouldn't have to worry about the upside of a pay-per-view to make big money, because Turkey, that's what he kicks out. Big money. He's hoping he can make that with David, who comparatively has more of a buzz and more of a following than he does. At the same time, he doesn't view David as the harder fight. He views it as the easier fight because he spent a number of years sparring David Benavidez. He's familiar with him. The devil that you know? He feels that because he's already sparred David a good number of times over the years, and because in this situation, he would be the smaller fighter moving up in weight, that gives him the drop on David. He doesn't view David as the harder fight. He views it as the easier one, the more winnable one. That's why he chose to have this fight. As stated, when have you ever known anyone to willfully choose to have a hard night at the office?
Choose to give yourself a hard time? Yeah, right.
He says that Jai Opetaia needs to fight better people, and I don't disagree with that. The problem is the people that are supposed to be better, like you, don't want to fight him. When it was announced, not but 1 or 2 days ago, that Jai Opetaia would be fighting Brendan Glenton, I saw people complaining, and I thought to myself, what do you expect the guy to do? The unified champion booked himself to fight somebody else. Jai can't force Zurdo Ramirez to fight him.
What about Noel Michaelian?
Well, the hope is that after the Brandon Glanton fight, if Jai wins, and most people are expecting him to, he can maybe unify titles with Noel after that. There's a lot of speculation as to what's going on with Jai Opetaia's red and gold title, it being that his next fight is supposed to be for the inaugural Zuffa belt, the first of its kind.
People are wondering, is he gonna drop the red and gold title and just keep the Ring magazine and Zuffa belts? What happens to that title?
The IBF was contacted for comment, and according to them, Jai Opetaia has not vacated the red and gold title. So until further notice, he still is IBF champion and everybody's problem. Noel Michaelian fight could still happen. Maybe the holdup is Noel Michaelian is inking a deal of his own with Zuffa. That could be why this isn't Jai Opetaia's next fight.
I could see that.
Jai Opetaia already worked out his deal with Zuffa. Maybe Noel Michaelian is in the process of working out his, and maybe he'll make his debut on the undercard of Jai Opetaia's next fight. We'll see.
You want Jai Opetaia to fight better people? Hopefully that's somebody he does end up fighting, but if he hasn't fought Zurdo yet...
It's got everything to do with Zurdo. By the time Zurdo moved up to the Cruiserweight division, it was already established that Jai is number one. You chose to go after everybody else's belts, everybody else's titles, and you don't fool me. You did that on purpose.
Jai was already number one before you moved up to this division.
Now you're choosing to fight a light heavyweight moving up to cruiser, and you're telling Jai that Jai needs to fight better people? No, you need to nut the fuck up. If Zurdo Ramirez, by some chance, beats David Benavidez, do you think he fights Jai Opetaia right after that? Because I don't. I think that he would look for alternatives. He wouldn't rush into that fight. He doesn't want it.
Just talk his shit from behind the fence.
I suppose it doesn't really matter anyway, because I don't think he's going to win the David Benavidez fight. I've actually gone with David.
Really?
To win the fight. Having seen them both in action in close proximity, I think David's hand speed will pose great issues for Zurdo Ramirez mid-range to inside. They're both fluid fighters within close quarters, but David does string his punches together faster than Zurdo, and it's noticeable.
I think David is going to beat him to the punch. I think he's going to win.
So whatever Zurdo Ramirez has to say about Jai Opetaia doesn't really matter anymore if he loses his belts and loses his next fight, at which point the question becomes, will David fight Jai? Will David do what Zurdo Ramirez didn't? Because the Cruiserweight division...
Well, you heard what David said. He's going to beat Zurdo, then drop back down to light heavyweight.
Yeah, fucking right. David's not going to drop 25 pounds to go back to light heavy. He would sooner sit out the rest of the year than do that. If he beats Zurdo Ramirez in May, the question remains, at what point does he fight Jai Opetaia? Because he's going to have what Jai Opetaia wants.
You guys want him to fight better people. You are the better people.
And it takes two to tango, so I hope you brought your dancing shoes.